We're honored for this invitation from the Cyrus Tang Foundation to share more about our proposed project entitled Critical Design, Problem Solving and Problem Making for Education. You've already heard from me during our meeting at UChicago, so I'm going to hand it over to my amazing collaborators in both Beijing and Chicago.
Design describes the use of creative techniques to address real-world problems. We already know that it's important to everything from business schools to the largest corporations in the world, like Apple and Tencent. But design is also a crucial lens for thinking about interdisciplinary education in the 21st century.
At Tsinghua University, we think big about design. We specialize in urban design.
Our work is both playful and rigorous. Chinese designers can be characterized by their adaptability, resilience, and progressive mindset. We maintain an optimistic outlook and roll with transformations of cultural paradigms.
At UChicago, we're playful about design too. We specialize in game design that engages youth in a variety of topics, from the arts to environmental science and to public health. So we like to embed learning within our games to boost student engagement. Like our Tsinghua collaborators, we believe in evaluating our designs to make sure they're really doing what they're supposed to be doing.
In both China and the US, formal design curricula do not usually address contemporary social issues directly.
There are three limits to design education that we see as the problems we want to correct. First, the practice of design needs to be more self-aware through theory and history.
Second, design tends to be visually focused, but the field needs to keep up with digital media, especially in interactive, multilinear, and networked domains.
Third, design principles don't always travel readily across national and linguistic lines, including between China and the US.
Overall, design education is important to us because it teaches young people to solve problems and even make better problems. What problems can design address?
We are particularly interested in wicked problems. These issues are poorly formulated or just don't belong to any discipline or way of thinking. Yet, it is urgent that we solve them. What are some examples of wicked problems?
Climate change,
Smart city design,
Structural inequality,
Technological integration in education, public health.
These are some of the wicked problems that could better be addressed by students educated in design.
If our project is successful, we hope for it to change the world. What we are doing may originate in academia, but our goal is to create a physical design toolkit that can be used by students and the general public. We also aim to work on a co-written book published in both Chinese and English.
We also believe that all education, including design education, needs to be more playful.
To borrow Jenny Anderson and Rebecca Winthrop's educational scheme, first, we have resistors who struggle silently with imposter syndrome and disengage. Second, we have passengers who coast by meeting minimum standards. Third, we have achievers who tie their self-worth to performance but avoid new challenges. Finally, we have explorers who are driven by internal curiosity and achievement of ever-evolving goals. We want to develop this last category.
Since we have several game designers on this team, we propose making a live-action game to promote international design education. Games are a hands-on method of engaging different kinds of learners as explorers. They're a space of safe failure where students are expected to make mistakes and to try again.
At UChicago, we have worked with game-based learning for over a decade. We've designed games for middle school and high school students, and even for first-year undergraduate orientation.
At Tsinghua, our group designed 2 scavenger hunts that took museum experience outdoors to the Beijing Old Summer Palace Park and Shanghai's People's Park.
We now want to create a game that can be played in both Beijing and Chicago that uses our design toolkit and teaches participants about the design process.
In summary, we would complete this work with 3 deliverables for varied audiences: a toolkit, a book, and a replayable game.
A large priority for us is making sure that this critical design project gives back to the community.
At UChicago, we have years of experience creating community-oriented programming at our publicly accessible Weston Game Lab.
At Tsinghua, we also have facilities at the Future Laboratory where we can invite community members.
Our proposal is to give back in 2 major ways. First, we plan to run a round of our design game for our communities and not only for members of our universities.
Second, we plan to run public workshops to invite community members to engage in design thinking by using the final version of a design toolkit.
In order for our game and design toolkit to be successful, they have to serve a broad range of stakeholders. So if we have done our job well, we will be able to invite youth and community members to start imagining solutions to wicked problems that they want to mitigate.